monsters to save his lands and serfs. A serf would have already been working in the fields full-time unless they were in a city. Even in the city, a boy would be apprenticed to whatever craft he was going to follow. But Jackson and his mother still had a more Earth-like relationship. He was accustomed to following her lead. The king added, "Your friend, Captain Arame, will be heading it up." Excitedly, Jackson looked at his mother as he asked, "It will be safe then. You know he won't let me get hurt." "I've heard stories about the battle with the Frog Warlock. Did he keep you out of danger then?" "Mom, it was called the Frog Lock, and we all did our part then," Jackson protested. "Lady Amiri, if it would put your mind at rest, this is just a scouting mission, and Jackson would get to ride on a griffin. It is meant as something of a reward, not to put him in danger. I was trying to save that last part as a surprise, but I don't want to be on the wrong side of a chosen," King Albert said. "Just scouting, you say?" Emiri asked. Jackson had seen that look on her face many times. He wanted to scream at the king to be careful, but again, that just wouldn't be right. The king simply nodded and replied, "Yes, they are looking for more signs of problems to the north, but will be doing so from the air. I'm sending an entire flight of our Griffin Guard. He will be incredibly safe." "I'm glad to hear that it will be safe. That means I can go along with them," Gianna said. Her mother snapped, "Enough of that. We've already had this conversation as many times as I can stomach. You will be queen someday, but that day has not yet come. Now I am a queen, and I will not have you riding around on those beasts." "That isn't fair. You never let me do anything." Gianna stood as she spoke. Her hands were clenched into small fists and held at her sides. "You will apologize to your mother, Gianna. If that is too much of a challenge for you, then you will apologize to the queen, or you will find out just how much like a dungeon cell your chambers can become," the king said. Gianna stomped off, and Jackson and his mother shared a look. He knew that she was commiserating with the queen. Mira had treated his mother like that all too often back on Earth. They might be getting along very well now, but the memories of his sister's blow-ups were still fresh in Jackson's mind. The king stood and called after her, but his wife placed her hand on his arm. "Dear, let me go talk to her. She was just overexcited about all of this, I'm sure. You know how she feels about..." She allowed her voice to trail off awkwardly. If Jackson didn't know better, she looked over at him and then at the king. Her husband nodded, and she hurried out of the room after apologizing to Amiri and him. Jackson wasn't happy about any of this, but he didn't want it to be a thing. Riding a griffin sounded like too much fun. They discussed it a little further, and determined that the next morning at first sunrise, they would fly north to scout. The meeting didn't continue long after that. It was obvious the king wanted to deal with his family issues, so soon Mom had shuffled him out of the room. A page came to walk them back to their chambers, but Emiri waved the boy off. Jackson could feel the weight as they walked along quietly. He tried to preempt any problems by saying, "It sounds like it will be safe, and I promise to take care, Mom." He watched her eyes get wide, and her head moved back. Then she said, "Oh, that. Yeah, I'm not worried about that, honey. You really are stronger than most everyone around us. And by the standards of this world, you are close to adulthood. Just like I can accept my elvish culture here, I can accept that things are different for you. I was actually thinking about something else." Now it was Jackson's turn to have his eyebrows go up. "Are you still mad at me for fighting with the Minotaurs?" His mother stopped him then, and turned him to look at her. "I am so proud of you. You are becoming the young man that every mother wants. You are brave but gentle, humble but confident, and always thinking of others. I feel blessed by Chanel to have you as my son. Jackson felt his face grow warm with her words of praise, and a tightness filled his chest. He wanted to say something but wasn't sure what to say. Finally, he settled on, "Thanks, Mom."